Hey everyone, and welcome back to another flashlight review. Today I'm going to be looking at a unique flashlight. This is the Wuben Knight X-O, and as you can see, really different looking light. I've actually put it back in the box, used it for about a week. I wanted to show you what it looks like when you get it, and it's got some kind of holographic sort of rainbowy reflective material here in the back. Okay, but other than that, you've just got some basic options here. I actually got the version with the Samsung LH351D. This is a high color rendering index flashlight, and yeah, I really like this LED. There's also the Osram P9 that you can get. I've not had one of these before, so that's why I opted for the LH351. The P9 has, I think, another 1 to 200 lumens. From what I see, yeah, another 200 lumens. Okay, but on the high level, you've got basically 2 hours, 2.5 hours of runtime, turbo, 2 hours plus 1 minute of the turbo mode. So it's pretty decent runtime, especially if you use it in the lower modes. You've got 15 hours on the medium mode, quite impressive. So let's open it up. I'm going to show you what you get in the box, okay? And this is it. You get a little cable. Okay, you get an instruction manual, and this comes with some spare O-rings as well, nice to have. And of course, you get the Wuben Knight X-O. Comes with this little sticker here in the back. Flashlight is locked by default, so you got to press that button 4 times to unlock it. So let's put all this stuff away and get a closer little look at the light. And I actually got the version with the micro arc oxidation. It's the white version. And like I mentioned before, this is probably one of the most unique designs I've seen on a flashlight. It's got a sci-fi industrial feel to it. It's definitely just quite fascinating to look at compared to a lot of my other lights. And you see there's a few scuff marks and things. I've used this quite extensively this week, and I definitely don't baby my lights. This is just some of the plastic actually from the scooter just rubbing off on it. I think it's a great little EDC light that you can clip onto the edge of your pocket, on the front of your bike, even on a bag strap, like one of those shoulder bag straps that go across. You can clip that on, and the great thing is that the lens faces forwards. Okay, it's got a little magnet in the back there as well, which I'll go through a little bit more later. But basically, you can have the light sticking to the to something above you if you're working on the ground, or on the desk to the side, on the side of your car, pretty much. So if you're out doing some videos or something like that with your camera, you can stick it on the side of your tripod as well. So I think it's just a nice little feature that they managed to squeeze into the X-O, and it actually comes with a few different colors. There are a lot of intricate cutouts and angles on this light, and this would definitely take a lot longer to machine and design than a normal tube light. So I think it's really kudos to Wuben, who decided to do something a little bit different, come up with something truly interesting to sort of look at. And funny, as I've gotten a little bit attached to this light for some reason, and as an EDC I've got so many of them, but this one really stands out. The color, the design. I actually opted for the white micro arc oxidation model, but there's also a black anodized version, there's a titanium one, there's a brass one, and a few other colors. The Samsung LH351D sits inside here. There's basically a TIR optic, but it looks like Wuben have applied some type of metallic coating on the inside of it to improve the reflectivity, or who knows, but that's something I've not seen before. This is definitely a TIR optic. The optic produces a 175-degree beam, and it's fascinating because it goes all the way into your peripheral vision. I don't have a light that produces that type of beam profile, because most of my lights just come with reflectors. So it's a wide beam, not usual, but I think it's a very useful light if it's the only one you're carrying around. If you're going trekking at night or something something like that just give you maximum visibility. Okay, and the great thing is that it does have this TIR lens in the middle, which produces a distinct hotspot, and that's something I really like and I look for in all flashlights to make sure, because I want to be able to see into the distance as well. Runs off an 18350 cell. It is replaceable. What you can do is get some pliers, stick them in there and just give it a quick little turn, and the rest of it you can do by hand. And the 18350 cell is in there, so very easy to replace. You know, you can see also there's a few of these slots here. Okay, there's 9 of these little slots, and they're tritium slots or glow stick slots that you can add in any of those vials later on. I think initially it was meant to have some of these tritium vials on there, but due to some issues with the shipping and restrictions on certain countries, they've decided not to go with it, which is a shame, because I would have loved to have some of these tritium vials in there. They're so difficult to find and quite expensive as well. I think they're about 50 to 60 bucks for a 5mm vial. So you might be wondering how you actually charge this light. So this little thing here on the top, all you got to do is just flip it up, and here you have the USB-C port, and there's a couple of magnets here, and it just sort of closes up like that. And the light is actually IPX water resistant and dust resistant. So Wuben have done something here to actually seal this USB port from what they state on their website, which is definitely relief. If I drop this in the water or something like that, I don't want anything to go inside the light and muck around with it. So let's go through the UI. I want to show you how this light works. I've got it locked at the moment, and when it's locked, you see this little flashy light here on top. It just flashes 4 times. Okay, I think it's good. So there's no sort of sign of that actual LED turning on. Sometimes it can just have this annoying double flash thing, which I don't like, draws too much attention. Okay, so to lock out, you just click 4 times. Okay, and basically 4 times to activate and deactivate the lock. Okay, if you're putting that straight into your pocket without the clip, I do recommend locking it. Okay, the button does take a little bit of pressure to activate the light, but you don't want to kind of take any chances there with the light turning on. Okay, so how does it work? Well, firstly, we just activate it. There's actually 4 levels. Okay, so that one, then it ramps up again. So 4 times, that's the highest. But if you double click, you get into the turbo mode, which is the 1100 lumen mode. Once the light is on and you've activated that turbo mode, if you double click again, all it does is just strobe. So actually, to reactivate that turbo, you need to switch the light off, switch it on, and double tap again to reactivate that mode. There's also an interesting feature here that allows you to customize the level per mode. So for example, I'm in the low mode, okay, and I want the low mode to be a little bit brighter. I can click and hold, and then what it does is that it actually starts ramping the light up, okay, so that can now be the low mode. So turn it on, again, that's low, okay. So basically, you can click and hold again and just reduce it down. Okay, I've just left it on the default settings. I'm quite happy with how they are, but if you want, customized modes, which each of the 4 modes specify, how bright it is, you can actually do that and program the light. And that's a nice little feature that I've not seen on these sort of set UI flashlights. Okay, let's have a look at the performance of the flashlight. And here's a quick ceiling bounce test that I did at home. And you can see the light holds maximum brightness, the turbo mode there, for about half a minute before it starts ramping down. And it ramps down to about 1/4 of its output, which is roughly 250 lumens, according to Wuben's website. I've reactivated that turbo again at several points later on. Some of the times, like in quick succession, the last 2, and you still get that extra 30 seconds of turbo. So it actually holds the turbo for 30 seconds each time you reactivate, which is a good thing. I did some candela readings as well with my Opal Lightmaster Pro, and on turbo I got 3,250 candela, which is 114 meters. And on high, the high mode, 250 lumens, got 1,000 candela, which is 63 meters. Okay, so this is definitely more of a short to middle range flashlight. You're not going to get an extreme throw with this light, okay, but you're going to get good illumination all around you, and especially into your peripherals from such a little thing like this. On both modes, the CCT was quite warm, so 4,664 on turbo, 4,431 on high, so definitely on the warmer end. Color rendering index was between 95 to 97, which is very high. I'm quite impressed with that, and you know, the quality of light coming from the emitter as well. When you have a high color rendering index, it basically means you're sacrificing some output for color accuracy. You can get this light with the P9 emitter with lower CRI, but you know, it's really just a couple 100, 200 extra lumens. It's not a big deal, not a big difference that you're going to see. Longevity wise, I think I talked about that before, but you're going to get about 2 to 2.5 hours of runtime on the highest modes. You know, given that ramp down, it's really just measuring the high mode in total, how long it's going to last. So about 2.5 hours after it ramps down from that turbo. Okay. And it's very easily pocketable, as you can see. I mean, you just need to clip it. You can clip it to the edge of your pocket, or really just drop it into your pocket. It feels funny inside my pocket. It's like I'm carrying a little stone or something due to the shape of the light. So a couple of considerations, and I have hinted on these already, but the light ramps down from 1,100 lumens to 250 lumens. There's no in between. I would have liked for Wuben to have included just maybe a brighter mode in between, maybe 500 lumens perhaps. And, you know, I guess this is just to reduce the heat and maybe preserve the battery life, as the light was still very cool to the touch after 30 seconds or so of turbo. It does have, you know, an 18350 cell in there, so I think 1,100 milliamp hour cell. You do want to prioritize runtime, especially if you're using this light, you know, as your main light when you're out for a run or having a night walk or something like that. You know, I think the 250 lumens, especially, you know, in pitch black or really low light areas, is plenty of light for most purposes. Another thing I wanted to mention is that this clip here on the back is quite rigid. Okay, so it does take a little bit of convincing to get something in there, but once you do, it stays put and it stays secure. Overall, the Wuben Knight X-O has definitely become one of my favorite EDC lights. At the moment, it lives in the front pocket of my backpack. It's just easy to carry with me, or, you know, sometimes in my pocket. But funny enough, I've noticed that I'm actually just using this at my desk, or just have it on my desk all the time, just playing around with it. I find that when I'm in the middle of watching a video or doing something, I'm always just playing with this port cover and flicking it open, doing this sort of thing with it as well. Okay, so that's a little bonus. So guys, if you're looking for a practical mini flashlight with a unique design, this could definitely be the one for you. I've left the link in the description, and if you use my little affiliate code there, you'll get a bit of a discount on the light as well. If you have any questions, I'm sure I've missed out bits and pieces of bits and pieces here. Just let me know in the comments and I'll get back to you. If you like the video and found it helpful, do me a favor and click the like button. It doesn't cost you anything and it helps me to get my videos out to more people. And if you want to see me keep making reviews, make sure you subscribe. The Wuben X-O, I'm going to put it onto turbo or high. You can see like there's quite a distinct hotspot on the ground just through that TIR lens. Very easily illuminates this entire field. And what's interesting is the actual angle of the beam. It just looks like a complete, if you look on the ground, just like a completely flat line. So it actually illuminates well into the peripherals, into your peripherals. So starting to, looks like it may be starting to ramp down a little bit at this stage. See if I can reactivate that turbo again. There we go. It's on the high mode. But it's very useful, nice sort of beam. I think especially if you're walking around at night, you want to get a good sense of what's around you. This is a really good light to have because you can see ahead of you due to the TIR lens, that hot spot in the center, but you've still got a good amount of light to the left and the right of you as well. Really impressed with the profile of this beam. Wuben X-O will go on turbo. And I mean, you can already see on the ground there, it's a nice bright hot spot in the center, but the beam has just got such a wide profile. I mean, I can see everything in my peripheral vision and significant illumination as well. It does step down at a certain point to a more manageable level. Okay, I can almost see it. Maybe started to happen. Okay, but it does have about a 2.5 hour runtime, I think. Okay, go for a little stroll. It's interesting as you can just keep reactivating that turbo, that high mode. When it starts to ramp down, or you just switch it off, switch it back on and double click again, and the light is managing the heat just so well. I mean, I can just feel it getting a little warm, but really not, not anything significant. I mean, it's normal temperature night, about 20 something degrees. See, this is it pretty much ramped down, but it's very bright and still, I can't see all the way to the back of the tree line, but just before that, it's illuminating all the grass. But if I switch it off, switch it back on, double click again, you get that boost, and that does actually tints the trees just at the back there. Wuben Knight X-O. Turbo.